Okay, cool. Bianca, who is operating the camera, which is intimidating, has English and Afrikaans, and then eclectic Duolingo. Yes, but you said some Afrikaans, you mentioned. Okay. Yeah, and eclectic Duolingo, so like bits and pieces from Duolingo, which is fun. Okay, cool. Like, what did you said Swedish? No, it wasn't Swedish, it was Japanese.
Japanese.
Okay, cool. And then Colleen, German, Afrikaans, Zulu from nursing, and then a bit of French.
But a mashup of all languages.
Yeah, and they all
I'm not
just
sure what I'm speaking.
they all just kind of
Yes.
free floating, and you
Yes.
just sort of grab a phrase and use it.
Yes, and,
Okay.
and it works.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then we've got, so going to today. Okay, so Shona mother tongue, Spedi, and this is Zulu, and now I have a new piece of information. Your wife is Zulu.
Yeah.
Ngempela?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. And then Candice has got English, French background. Yeah, but it's never to a serious level.
No.
And then Afrikaans at school. Okay, but as you said, self-confessed, my Zulu was better than my Afrikaans. Okay, that's interesting. And William, so some is Zulu at school, 6 months, roughly. We're here in Joburg.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then English and Afrikaans.
Yep.
Okay, cool, that's awesome. So we have one bilingual, that's you. Everyone else, no one said fluent in the other language, which is interesting. Okay, there we go, fluent in Afrikaans. So there are 2 bilinguals at the table. That's quite nice.
You guys don't have another language?
English on top of Shona.
Oh, so then bilingual, 3,
Yeah.
bilingual, 4.
Spedi, I'm not that fluent.
But English and Shona.
English and
There we
Shona,
go.
so,
So
yeah.
Shona is your home language?
Yeah, that's my own.
So that's quite interesting. So we've got half the group is bilingual or multilingual, heading that way, and half the group is kind of monolingual English with some other languages added. Yeah, and a bit confused. Okay, that's going to be interesting to work with. Okay, so Kuluma. When you came in, Besibingalele, right? We were greeting each other. How did I do that? So okay, cool. So let's do this. So your basic one. Say it again for me as you heard it.
Sawubona.
Okay, so someone said it without the A at the end. Okay, so you can actually leave that off. And you overpronounce that. Sawubona.
Someone.
Not Sawubona. Okay, cool.
Say it again the way that you said.
So, Sawubona.
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 Someone.
You don't have to say the A at the end.
Does it show you up as a learner if you do? Does it?
Yeah.
Is it?
If someone says
Over-formalized.
Sawubona, this is going to go, okay. So, what's interesting is also you'll notice that this whole big piece here gets kind of swallowed. So it's saw.
Yeah.
You don't say sawubona. So sawubona.
Sawubona.
Okay. I asked you last week if you could listen out. What else have you heard in terms of greetings? How else could I have greeted you when you came in? Come on guys, you must know some other ones. Because that's standard. That's your classic Zulu greeting. Okay?
There's a few slang ones.
Yeah, go for it.
Which
Come
is
on.
like alright.
Yeah, alright. Alright. Okay. What else do you get? If 2 guys pass each other in the street and the one greets the other guy, what do they say? They say sharp or they say? Eta. There we go, thank you. So without the H sometimes, depends how you want to do it. Okay, so eta.
Talk to a group of Sawubona.
There we go, so now we're getting to something. Okay, cool. And I'm going to do something here to show you. Okay, so you don't need the knee at the end necessarily, but we'll get to that. What else? What other greetings have you heard that may not be Zulu, but may be something similar? Dumela, okay, that's in a different language, so that's cool. Totally different family, but you must be aware of it. Okay, what else have we got?
Hola.
Hola? Okay, nice. So, hola or Hola, depends how you want to say it. Okay, so hola, hola eta machita. Okay, so you can mix them all together if you want to, alright? What else? What other greetings? Do you know that the person who was cleaning the kitchen area and taking stuff out, I don't know what her name is. Okay, what language does she speak? Anyone know?
She's not going to live in it.
No, it's not in Ndebele. It's Xhosa.
It was.
Okay, so what do you say if you greet someone in Xhosa? Anyone know? Molweni. Anyone ever heard that?
Yeah.
You have? You've heard it? Okay, I'm not going to put it up here then if you haven't heard it yet, but you need to listen out for these. So we had a basic distinction, and there's a reason why I wrote it this way on the paper, that this is to one person, this is to lots of people.
Even Dumelang.
Yeah, the Melang is a plural. The singular looks like this. Okay? So that's interesting. The reason why I've included the Sesotho here is because it's going to be your first point of differentiation. When do you speak to someone in Zulu? You speak to them in Zulu when you hear them greeting someone else in Zulu. Like, oh, okay, that's someone I can speak to. Okay, all you introverts. Okay, so that's the one person that can go.
Well, we had homework to do, so I just
cool.
I just greeted everyone in Zulu. That was my
Okay, so there we go. So now we have the question. Did you greet people?
Yes.
Did you greet people?
Yes.
How many people did you greet?
About 6.
Ballpark 6. Okay, that's cool. Alright, come in.
Every day, a few.
People around the office, people, did you greet people at the shops or?
Shops at Investec.
Oh, cool, nice. Okay. Who had Investec?
The guy, the
Security
guard,
guard.
and the guy letting
Great
in
place
the
to
building.
start, yeah, okay. Because it breaks down barriers straight away. If you greet security guards in Isizulu or in a vernacular of any kind, it changes the whole dynamic. Hilton, did you greet
I
someone?
wasn't good on my homework.
Okay, cool.
I just did it with Priscilla and just got a laugh.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we'll talk about laughter in a moment, because to many European language speakers that's disconcerting. To people learning African languages, you need to realize that laughing is just smiling loudly.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
So it's just it's a nice overview. Okay. Jamil.
Yeah, so it's mainly been with people in the office.
Okay, cool.
That's the only
Okay. And what responses have you got? Because I'm assuming that the rest of you didn't do the homework, or did you?
I greeted Terence,
Okay.
and he was pleasantly surprised. He responded with something, but I actually can't remember what it was. Did you hear it?
She probably asked you how you were.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get onto.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Is Terence Zulu?
No, I think it's only
Oh.
Jesse asked.
He's Zulu.
Yeah, he's Zulu.
Oh, really?
A lot of languages there.
So it's like a surprise, like a surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah.
William, sorry.
Also my colleagues.
Okay, cool.
So just can generally get the smiling loudly and they try and converse. Like at the spa, for example, I tried a couple like the teller and the people working, and I found what immediately happens, they're much more friendly immediately.
Yes.
But then also they start going to conversation. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to say whoa.
As far as how you and everything,
Yes.
and they start carrying on, and I just glazed.
Nice. Okay, so that's an opening for you. You noticed that they were friendly afterwards. Yeah, it's going back to what you said about investing. It breaks down barriers straight away. Have you been greeting your wife?
Of course.
Of course, yes.
I did, but yeah, maybe the proportion could be 50 or
Okay, cool.
40.
Nice.
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
And does it? How far does it go? Is it just greeting, Unjani, Ngapila, and then that's it?
It depends with my willingness that day.
Yes,
So,
that's a very
but
important
it
thing.
goes to some basics,
Okay.
but then most of the time you're more comfortable with something that you're used to, so I tend to divert so quick. Yeah.
Yes.
So what will you then, so what's your main language with your wife?
English.
English.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Bruce. Crispin, have you been doing the greetings?
Yeah, it's for me, mainly taxi drivers
Yes.
and also maybe a church. Before
Okay.
or just, to spice things up.
Yes, yes, nice. And depending on which church it is, the sign of the peace, if you give someone the sign of the peace in Zulu, then that really spices things up. Suddenly everyone's like, whoa.
What's the sound of the piece?
Uktula magmenau and so may peace be with you always.
Wow.
Okay. So if you do that, if you're in a church, that's quite a nice way to do it. Or you can just take the shortcut and say Uktula. Peace.
And Utula is also be quiet.
Yes. So being peaceful and being quiet are the same thing.
It's true.
We're gonna meet these things
Yeah.
where Zulu's got a lot more to the word than just
Right,
one. It's got
right.
like 4 or 5 meanings.
Right.
Nice. So
Could maybe like was interpreted very easily, like, depending
yeah.
on how you deliver it, I suppose.
yeah, that's why. Okay, so you are all familiar with the reigning monarch of the Amazulu. I think you know him.
Just films, I mean.
Yeah, so Isilo Samabanda Onke Ungangezwela Ke is his proper way of addressing him, but everyone calls him Goodwill, which is very disrespectful to him. He always complains about the fact that people shanageze what he says. They take it and they turn it on its back. So they misinterpret what he's saying. Unfortunately, in the instances where he says this, there's not that 4 or 5 different meanings for one word. He's picked a very specific word that has a very specific meaning, and he's using it in full knowledge of what that meaning is. So it is interesting though. Zulu is, because it's an oral language, the cues for that kind of shade of meaning are going to be in the way someone says it or the context around what they say, which is kind of difficult for second or third language speakers. So, that's an ongoing task, by the way. I'm going to check in with you each time. So how many people did you greet? Okay. How often did you greet during the week? Okay, and then we'll check in and try and expand it. So some of you have avenues in for just finding out how people are. So that's cool. So that's our next step. So we start with this. There's some other things to look at here. So when we look at Sawubona, that's fine. So everybody have a go at saying it.
Sawubona.
Okay, so listen to the way you say the vowels. Okay, the vowels in Zulu are constant. It's not like a lot of other languages where the vowels shift. English is horrible, horrible for anyone who is learning it as a second or third language. Zulu is lovely because there are only 5 vowels. That's it. There's no different way of pronouncing them. It's always, so I'm going to make you sound like grade school children. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so A, E, I, O, U. Okay. And if you want to get yourself into Zulu mode, if you want to change gears, then you need to sort of get yourself thinking in terms of that pattern. So that when you say the words, your English or your other language doesn't overtake and you say the vowel differently. Just try and get it into A, E, I, O. Okay. We know that these are for one, this is for many. What's the difference between this and this? So people with pattern recognition software turned on, it's the knee, okay? So it's this bit, as opposed to this bit, okay? You may have heard a variation of this, depending on how many Swati speakers you encounter on a daily basis. Where instead of Sawubona, they say Sagubona. Okay, where it's a K, which is actually closer to modern Zulu. This is a very old word. So this is quite interesting, that in Swati you'll get a K here instead, Sagubona. Okay. The difference between wo and ni is a difference which doesn't make sense to people who speak European languages, except if it's French or German. It's the difference between you and y'all. Okay, you and you all. Okay, so Sawubona, you. Sanbona, all of you. Okay. What is the sa doing? Where does the sa come from? Because I'm trying to get you to notice the patterns that are going on here. Think of another word in Zulu that you know that's very common that starts with an S. Salagahle. Okay, give me some others.
Is it greeting?
It's a pleasantry. So, for example, I give this to you and you say,
Yabo.
Okay, so ngiyabonga, singular. Okay, what's the plural of it? There we go. Okay. Okay. Now,
The yeah is something.
the ya is something as well, yes.
Uh,
Every bit of the word means something. There are
okay.
6 positions in a verb phrase, and you can shift them all around like a combination lock and add stuff in. But the major difference between these two words is C and G. Okay? Now, in modern Zulu, this would be siya gubona, siya nibona. Okay? So, what is the phrase you actually say when you greet someone?
Bon. Bon.
What does bon mean?
Good.
No?
That's
C'est
French.
pas bon. Okay.
See.
C is C. This, yes, C. Okay. Okay. There we go. So we, you, see. We, you all see. So we see you. We see you. Okay. Why is it we? I said it to you. So on. In a Western sense, I sound schizophrenic. We see you. Okay. But in an African sense, it's because it's not just me greeting you.
Is it
It's
ancestors?
my ancestors, it's my family, it's people in the background, it's all the people that I represent. I stand for them each time I greet you. So that's why it's pretty formal. But as I said, it's a bit of a fossil. It's really old. In other languages, the greeting is slightly different. So molo in Xhosa, I've heard from reliable sources that it's actually from Mora.
What?
Okay, Mora, Mora, okay. Moro, first instance, because R's don't exist. Okay, so this one is about we see you all. If you look at Sesotho, Dumela and Dumelang, they are both commands. Does anyone know what they mean? It'll help us to understand the next step in this process. Dumela means say yes. Dumelang, say yes, all of you. Okay. So how do you respond to Dumela?
Yeah. Well,
And except it's in Sesotho. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, which is yes. Right. So say yes.
Yebo.
Yebo. Okay, good. So how do we respond to Sawona? Yebo. Okay.
and I've said that in the opposite of the way everyone else.
Okay. So you respond with Yebo. And you can add Sawona. Yebo, Sawona. Okay. Same thing here. Now, last bit of the puzzle to unpick here is that I put brackets around me at the end. I'll show you how it works. So, Sanmona. Whoops,
Oh, because
I
you're-
pulled the cable out.
Sorry.
Okay, it's
So
fine.
it's more.
Where does this
It's
go?
on the left side.
On
Other
the,
side.
the other side. So the right side, you mean?
Well, left to me.
Yeah, relative. Okay, cool. So,
Now you need to face it to you.
there.
You have to do everything.
I have to do
Yes.
everything.
Camera
Really,
there.
honestly. So what did I do? I came in and it was just someone and you can respond with yebo, but I'm not expecting the conversation to go any further. It's a greeting to a group of people, and it's like protocol observed. Hi. Okay, let's move on with the meeting. Okay, so you'll hear politicians addressing large crowds of people say "Sanbonan." They're not expecting people to say "Yebo, unjan." Okay, because that would take forever. So for me, it's a modern sort of change to the way that the greeting happens. But the greeting is all about seeing. Siyabona. Okay, we see. Siyabona. Okay, siyanibona. Why is it about seeing? Think of greetings that you know. What types of greetings do you know? There's like good day. There's be at peace. Okay. What are the ones we've got? Types of greetings in other languages.
Namaste.
Namaste. So my soul recognizes the soul in you. Okay. Cool. What's it in Shona? Mamukase.
Mugase is like good morning.
Yeah, but what does it actually mean?
With Mamukase, it's like how you wake up. Like
Yes. Okay, good. So it's about waking up. Okay, so in Chichewa as well, you say Matsugabwanji. You work how? And that's I work. Okay, right? So these are all important. Just keep them in your mind. Okay, and Zulu is about seeing, and Sesotho is about saying yes. In isiZulu and Sesotho, you're basically saying to the person, prove that you're human. The person says, yeah. Okay, good. You are human. Okay, fantastic. We can move on. So what I want you to do is, over the next week, you're going to listen out for variations of this. Some more. We can add some more in. Okay? So, and I want you to listen particularly to the stuff in red. What is the response? What happens? Because someone's going to pick it up and move on. Okay. But this is, does anyone have any questions about this page? Because I'm going to move on to the next step of the greeting process. It's not about asking how you are, it's about determining who you are. Okay. So, if we have around the table, how many married men around the table? Okay, cool. So 3, 4. Okay, 4 including me, 5. There we go. So 5. How many married women? Just 1. Okay, cool. All right. So, relative to my age, okay, so I'm 34. I'm going to be brutally honest about this. Okay, if you're in the same generation as me, put up your hand.
What do you count
Same
as
generation. Okay, so it's sort of 10 years older, 10 years younger. Okay? Cool. All right, so you are my siblings. And you are my parents. Okay, sorry about this. You could be my aunt and my uncle, in which case it's slightly less, but you're my parents. If there was someone younger than me, I would call them my nephew, my younger brother, okay, my younger sister, my niece. This is very important because there's a family dynamic going on here. So we're going to do a few different age groups. Okay, and it's relative, unfortunately. Sorry, there's no absolute. You can go with certain absolute ones, which I'll put in at the start just to make it easier. So any person who is an adult female, okay, can be called the equivalent of ma'am. Okay, right? So any adult female, regardless of whether they're married or whatever, can be called Mrs. or Miss, depending on what you want to do. So how do we say it? Anyone know? It's Mrs. or Miss. Come on, you do this.
I can't see, I don't know if that's...
Okay, CC's going to fit in here. So can I put CC in? So let's say this is your generation. Let's say if you're standing here, okay, then you've got CC, okay, and you've got, what's the opposite of CC? Okay. Okay. Then we're still going to get back to this other question I asked. If someone's older than me, what do I call them? Okay. And? Baba. Okay. We'll help you with those English sounding B's. No. Okay, it's not Baba. No, I'm not looking at anyone in the eyes. It's not Baba. It's Ba. Okay, so what you need to do is breathe in with the B sound, not out. Ba. Everybody? Ba. Okay, but now speed it up. Ba. There we go. Cool. This is very easy. Mom. Okay, but you notice the way I'm saying it?
Is it because
You frequently just leave Nkosana, close. Nkosazana and Nkosikazi would work. Okay, so those are your generic words. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them as generics that can go under this one. So Nkosikazi and Nkosazana. Younger, less married. Older, more married. Okay, so
generic-ish.
yes, generic-ish. Okay, good. So we're getting there. So Sisi, Puti, Mama, Baba. Okay.
Does that make if that's Nkosi Kazi, does that make that Nkosi?
No, because now this is where it gets really interesting. So Zulu changed the way that it named people based on British practice. So you had to come up with a word for sir and ma'am. So this is ma'am, okay, which actually means queen, which is quite a nice word for the missus. Okay, so Nkosikazi is my wife, my missus. But if you greet someone and you say Sawona Nkosikazi, that's fine. It's totally fine. It's acceptable. It's neutral. It's not going to get you into any hot water. Whereas if I were to come in and greet you as mama, that would be wrong, and you would have a right to get righteously pissed off with me. Yeah, like, hey,
Because it means you think she's too old.
yes, exactly. I'm saying she's much older and possibly has children that I'm making assumptions about. It's not okay. Alright, so these are quite traditional. These are not. What's the proper words for these guys? Because dis van Afrikaans af. Sissie. Okay, so Axon is Zulu, okay, is Puno, okay. It's the word for my sister. Anyone know? Maybe this should be a task for you to do some research about and find out. Ask people, what is the proper term of address for my brother and my sister? There we go, nice. Okay, good. Okay, so Mfowethu. Okay, and there's another way to going on here. Something way to. Something way to. You may not hear this very often in Joburg. I use it, and people immediately ask where I'm from, where I learned Zulu, and I say Eshowe, and they say, oh, okay. Inako, okay, Eshowe was Zulu, proper, like in the middle of the province. Okay. Where Inkosi Utechwayo had one of his main kraals. It was right there. So the word here is Dadewetu. Dadewetu. Okay, and wait. And if you're texting someone, this is very important, guys, okay? The abbreviation for this is...
Oh no!
Really? Mfowethu.
Come on.
Mfowethu. Yeah, exactly. Mfowethu. And this is... Okay, to do it. Okay, so this, useful things. If you ever feel like you need to text someone on WhatsApp them in Zulu, then 8 times Mfowethu. Okay, this is 8 TA. Mfowethu. Okay. Not that anyone needs to save characters anymore, but still do. Okay, so CC 4D is very common in Joburg. Okay, and in Isxhosa in general. That's the term used. If you try to say Dadewetu to a Xhosa speaking woman, she'll look at you. 10. Okay. Yeah, so that's cool.
So it's age related, that's the main thing. So what's the safest if you just don't know it?
Okay, so depending on how relaxed your organizational structure is, you could refer to all of the people around the table using these terms. That's okay.
No one will be offended by that, ever.
No.
Even if they're like a granny.
No, if they're a granny, they won't. So then you would have to go for mama and baba. If the person is old enough to have children, and those children are like sort of 10 years old, that's kind of what we're talking about. If the person is married and has a household and has children, then you call them mama and baba immediately. So I address people as mama and baba if I can see that there are signs that they fit into that category. And that's the most polite. So some of my colleagues at work I'm the youngest operational member of staff, so I go for ultra respectful all the time. So they call me Boti, okay, which is totally fine. And I call them Mama and Baba, and they're okay with that. They don't have an issue. If we're colleagues and we've worked together for a while, even if there's an age gap, you'll get these terms used.
It's less formal.
Yeah, it's less formal. Okay, it's quite a nice way. And in Joburg particularly, you'll get Sisi and Buti used regardless of age, which is a little bit, for me, it's disquieting. I'm like, no, this person is not the same age grade as you. Okay, and it's very old in Zulu. The whole system of organization of the culture was around izintanga, okay, which are age grades, cohorts. So that's why I asked, anyone who's in the same generation, we would be formed into the same regiment. Women would also have regiments, which is quite great. And we would go through life experiencing the same stages of life together. So we would not be alone. You would know that there's someone over there who's the same age as you, who's gone through the same rituals, the same processes. You were initiated together, there's all sorts of stuff. And that means there's a kind of there's a community which is developed within the community based on age. We've left out two of the things.
Gogo and...
There we go. Okay, gogo, that's easy because everybody knows gogo. Siamazi gogo.
We have adverts to teach us.
Yes, exactly, adverts teach us about the gogo. Okay. Gogo is the sound effect for some...
Okay.
Right. Sort of slightly stooped, a little bit decrepit, walk slowly. Okay, so gogo. What is the word for grandfather?
Mkulu.
Mkulu. Okay. Now, we're almost there. So gogo and mkulu. The basic thing here is mkulu is someone who has grey in the beard and the hair. Okay. Whereas Baba can have grey in the beard, maybe, but shouldn't have necessarily grey in the hair. But as you get older, you will address people with grey who are just a little bit older than you as Baba, not as Mkulu. People address my father, who's 82, as Mkulu, and that's totally acceptable. He's everybody's Mkulu. Okay. Gogo is not disrespectful. You just need to be aware of this. If you're old enough to have grown children with their own children, being called gogo is a sign of respect. It's not disrespectful. People who speak European languages or who come from a European culture struggle with this. I know that my own grandmother used to struggle with it. She doesn't like being called gogo. She's like, I'm not gogo. Okay, I'm mama. Okay, so you do get that. And then below us, Mfana, be very careful of using this. Yeah, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, so Mfana. Okay, what's slightly above Mfana? So this is a guy who's like saying dude. It's dude. Dude, like guy, oak, you know, owns. Okay, right? No? Okay, so in Sizwa, okay, so in Sizwa,
Mfana's boy.
yeah, Mfana's boy. Sizwa is like young man, guy, oak, right? And what's interesting is, if someone is your age, is slightly older than you, and you're a man, they will call you Sizwa. And that's totally fine, even though technically it means bachelor. So you could be married and they'll still call you Sizwa. Okay? That's why I said it's like dude. Okay, dude, oak, guy, alright. What's the equivalent on this side?
Nyana.
Okay? Yeah?
Nyana.
Nyana. I'm going to write it in a different color. Okay. Alright, so put it here. Like that, isn't it? Okay, Nyana. Okay, Ndwana is a neutral one, which we'll get to in a moment. But Nyana is not actually Zulu. It's like small. Okay, small. Alright. So, what's the word for a girl? Everyone's like, I have no idea. so so let's do. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put a star next to it,
Can you tell me?
and Ntombazana. Okay, so Ntombi, I put a star next to it because you will get a slap if you address someone as Ntombi when they are in fact a mother. That's not okay. That's not acceptable. Don't do that. My father has license to do that, but only because he's everybody's Mkulu. And you can greet someone, even someone your age, as Ntombi, and it's fine. Okay. Ntombazana is little, like we're talking prepubescent girl, and Mfana is prepubescent boy. Which is why when during apartheid grown men were called Mfana, you can see what it does. It takes someone who's here and demotes them to here. And calling someone who is Mama Ntombi also demotes them.
So even in English, there was like there's the garden
There's
boy.
the garden boy,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
The boy, the
the
girl, same thing.
same principle.
It's a demotion.
Even some men call woman girl.
Yeah.
Some men.
Yes, and that's not okay in Zulu culture either. It's not acceptable
What's
because
the equivalent of hey chickie?
a chickie. Okay, guys. So the male version of for that slang, okay, is going to be outie.
Outie.
Okay, and cherry. Okay,
Oh no, Colin, don't teach him this.
okay, so cherry. Enter cherry. Okay, okay, so don't say that.
That's very close to the Afrikaans.
Yeah, it's deselfde.
What to the
Yeah.
colours like.
Yeah, exactly. Terry. Okay. Alright. And outie.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So it's deselfde. Okay. So we're almost there because I want to add in a neutral term for a child. Okay. So this is a child. We're not talking a teenager. This is just a child. Okay. Anyone know what it is? What's a kid?
Twine.
Twine. Good.